Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole and it's by user Deleted. Would I be the a-hole for exposing my girlfriend's best friend's paternity scheme? I, 26 male, have been with my girlfriend, Becca, 25 female, for just over a year now. Becca and her best friend, Cindy, 25 female, are also close friends with Mike, 30 male, who they met in their first year of college. Something about Mike always rubbed me the wrong way. He's polite enough, but I find he's too handsy with the girls. I brought it up to Becca, who says Mike is like a protective big brother to them. Since Mike has been Becca's friend since she was 18, her family love him and invite him to family gatherings. That's why I kept quiet, since he's clearly important to Becca. At Becca's sister Bianca's engagement party, of course, Mike was there. While Becca was talking to Bianca, I went outside for some air. It was cold out, so there were only 2 people vaping. At the side of the house, I saw Mike and Cindy making out beside an in-the-ground solar light. I pulled out my phone and recorded 23 seconds of their makeout session before going back inside. On the car ride back, I told Becca that someone told me they saw Mike and Cindy kissing outside. She panicked and asked if I had told Stan what I was told. I said no, and she was relieved. I asked, "You're not surprised?" She said, "Of course not. Mike and Cindy have been off and on for years." My mind reeled, since Cindy had only been with Stan for 8 months. Becca said Mike understands Cindy in a way that Stan doesn't, and that she covers for Cindy and Mike because Stan sometimes gets suspicious, which is annoying. I lost some respect for Becca. Then 2 weeks later, I'm at Becca's place and Cindy calls her. She answers the phone on speaker and Cindy announces that she's pregnant. Becca squeals, takes the phone off speaker and puts it to her ear. From my side, I got that Cindy was sure the baby was Mike's, but she plans to pass it off as Stan's. When Becca ended the call, I asked her why Cindy would lie to Stan about fathering a baby. Becca said that Mike makes more money than Stan. Side note, Mike owns 3 gyms and has a personal training business. Becca then says Mike wants a kid but doesn't want any responsibilities or to deal with baby mama drama. So, since Cindy and Stan will probably get married anyway, this made sense for everyone. I was horrified and told Becca that she's just as bad as Cindy for covering this up. We got into a fight and I left. Later, Becca calls and tells me that I'm being foolish for letting other people's drama affect our relationship. I thought we shared the same values, but that she is fine with lying about paternity sets off alarm bells. I don't see a future, but don't know if breaking up over other people's drama is the right thing to do. And I feel for Stan, who doesn't deserve any of this. I feel too guilty not doing anything. So, would I be the a-hole if I somehow anonymously sent the video of Mike and Cindy making out to Stan? No, OP, I don't think you'd be the a-hole if you do that. I just wouldn't do it anonymously because why would you want to stay with Becca? Her moral compass is crap. It's not about breaking up over other people's drama. It's about being with someone who condones cheating, paternity fraud, and who knows what else. Stan needs to know what he's being roped into and has a chance to run away from this. OP, if I was in your shoes, I'd break up with Becca and expose everything. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's check out the community comments. Calligrapher Fair 9146 says, "Not the a-hole. Sent that video to Stan as soon as possible. This isn't just drama. They're trying to trick a guy into raising someone else's kid. That's messed up. Your girlfriend being cool with this fraud shows her true colors. Run, dude. Do the right thing and let Stan know. He deserves better." And OP responds, "You're right. I wouldn't have thought that having morals meant I'd be responsible for ending 2 relationships though." Wooden Map 6449 says, "You have your moral principles and you stick to them. That's a good thing. Yes, end the relationship, not because of other people's drama, but because your girlfriend is deceitful and untruthful, which is fundamentally incompatible with your values. Truthfulness is the foundation of all human virtues." Not the a-hole. Inaction is a choice too, and by not taking a stand against injustice, you would be betraying your own principles. The golden rule is to do unto others as you would have them do unto you. If you were Stan, wouldn't you want someone to let you know? And Opie responds, thanks. Yes, I would want to know. I guess I needed outside opinions to confirm what I already knew and felt. Stove 1336 says, you would not be the a-hole. However, I think the bigger issue here for you is that your girlfriend has no morals, my man. If she thinks it's acceptable behavior for her friend, she thinks it's acceptable behavior for her. Read that again. I would not trust her at all. Cut ties from her, then meet Stan for lunch and show him the video and explain how Cindy is trying to effectively ruin this poor dude's life with Becca's help. Stan doesn't deserve this crap. You'd be the a-hole if you'd kept it to yourself. And Opie responds, thanks, that's what I thought too. It just sucks to be with someone for over a year and learn you don't really know them. And Panachi19 says, not the a-hole. Get a burner phone or email and anonymously send Stan the video with a message that he might not be the father. It's the right thing to do, and you already covered yourself with saying you heard someone saw. I'd have a hard time staying in the relationship with someone who has no problem with her friend doing something like that. And Opie responds, not a bad idea. And yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to end things with Becca. Part of me wishes I never saw Cindy and Mike's makeout, cause then I'd probably never know anything. But the thought that if I didn't see it, I would probably never know the person Becca is scares me. I thought having morals would be cut and dry, but this is causing such emotional turmoil that I feel like I'm kinda going crazy. The community agrees that OP would not be the a-hole and is urging him to expose everything and run away from Becca. Now, OP has given us 2 updates to this situation, so let's move on with the first one to see what happened next. I posted about my girlfriend Becca's best friend Cindy's plan to lie to Stan, Cindy's boyfriend, about being the father of her unborn child and about Becca's role in going along with the plan and covering for Cindy. After reading the comments, I decided that the best thing was to confront Becca and tell her that either Cindy tells Stan the truth or I will. Since today was Becca's day off, I went to her apartment on my lunch break. Cindy was there, so I was able to tell Cindy directly. All hell broke loose. Cindy was crying, and Becca was just screaming and defending her friend. They both accused me and all men of being hypocrites since we have bro codes, but we punish women for loyalty. The irony in that statement is off the charts. I left mid-screams. Later at work, I was called to go down to the lobby because an irate man wants to see me. It was Mike, Cindy's off and on lover/friend, who is the real father of her unborn child. As soon as he saw me, Mike started yelling that I was a gossipy bitch for meddling in other people's lives, and what him, Cindy, and Becca do is none of my business. He was escorted out and banned from the building by security. I barely got through work after that. I replayed what he said over and over, what me, Cindy, and Becca do. What? Was he sleeping with both Becca and Cindy? Separately or at the same time? Could they be some kind of throuple? I went down a rabbit hole and looked him up on social media, which wasn't hard since Becca tagged him in every picture. Turns out, Mike is not 30, but 35 years old. That means he was 28 when he met Becca and Cindy at 18 years old. Could he have manipulated his way into their lives, into their pants? Could he still be manipulating them now, years later? When I got home, I got a call from a strange number, but I didn't answer. Then, that same number started sending me a bunch of texts. It was Stan saying just because I have outdated beliefs, it was no excuse to floozy shame his pregnant girlfriend. He's talking about my outdated belief that there would be nothing special about my wedding night if I have unprotected sex before marriage, and so I always use protection. I figured Becca told Cindy since they share everything, and for our 1-year anniversary, Becca said we should stop using condoms since she was on birth control, but I refused. Stan was texting insults non-stop, so I sent him the video of Mike and Cindy making out. He finally took a 4-minute text break before texting, "That was at Bianca's party?" Stan was there and probably remembered their outfits. I texted back, yes. Then nothing for 17 minutes before he texted, thanks. 30 minutes later, Becca started blowing up my phone. I turned it off, but I can hear the alerts from my Apple Watch. I'm still reeling from what Mike said and plan to confront Becca about it. In the meantime, I'm so mad I want to punch something. I'm so hurt I want to scream. I plan to take tomorrow off work to deal. Thanks to all who offered advice. I'll update when I calm down and talk to Becca tomorrow. Well, things unraveled and Stan knows everything. So let's move on to the final update to see how that conversation with Becca played out. Since Becca told me off yesterday, I had turned my phone off and was ignoring all calls and texts, but from my Apple Watch I can see notifications. This morning I turned my phone on to respond to a text from Stan. I called him and he apologized for his blow-up yesterday. He thanked me for sending him the video of Cindy cheating and said he wanted to know everything I knew. After I told him, he said he'd already dumped Cindy, but now he wants a prenatal paternity test. I didn't even know you could do that. If the baby's his, then he will support his child, but until the test, he wants nothing to do with Cindy. I also returned a call from work and was told the man from yesterday, Mike, was pacing in front of the building earlier this morning, but security must have spooked him because he left before the cops were called. Without checking her messages, I drove to Becca's and called her from outside saying we need to talk. She agreed. I waited in my car forever before going to her apartment. When Becca opened the door, she practically jumped into my arms. She started saying she was sorry she yelled at me and it was just her gut reaction to defend her BFF, but she doesn't want to lose me over Cindy's drama. I practically peeled her off of me and sat on the couch. I think I was just stalling when I first asked her what the original plan was for Cindy's baby. How would it benefit Mike to have Stan raise his kid if he himself wanted a child so badly? She said that Mike didn't want the full-time responsibility of a kid, so this way he would get to be the godfather who spoiled the baby and he would even pay for the kid's college later on. Oh, what a nice stand-up guy Mike is. Then she said, but that's no longer the plan since Stan knows everything. But she quickly said, not that I blame you for that. She then said, now that everything's out in the open, she wants us to get back to normal. I nearly choked at normal. I got to it and asked her straight up, are you sleeping with Mike? She looked hurt that I asked that and said, no, of course not. I then asked her, were you ever sleeping with him? She looked away. It was a gut punch. I just stood up and left. She let me leave, but she started blowing up my phone as soon as I drove off. She called non-stop and left several voice and text messages. In one, she says that her hookups with Cindy and Mike are done for good now, and I'm her future. So that's one question asked and answered. In another message, she wants us to move forward and thinks we should try couples counseling. I no longer trust her, but I still love her. But I also know that counseling can't rebuild trust, so it's definitely over between us. I finally blocked her on everything and might get a restraining order on Mike. The only good thing is at least now, Stan knows the whole truth. So thank you Reddit for your comments telling me to do the right thing. Well, OP, sounds like a great update to me. I mean, not for Mike, Cindy, and Becca, but you dodged a huge bullet and you helped out Stan. So thanks for sharing, OP, and take care. Now let's move on to the next post that also has an update. This post is from this subreddit Am I the A-hole, and it's by username McUserface. Am I the a-hole for not letting my in-laws drive my infant without a car seat? Basically, my wife's parents are stubborn and don't want to have a car seat in their car. My child is 11 months old and they think a seatbelt on top of a towel is fine. I am putting my foot down and refusing to allow them to transport my child in their vehicle. This is causing a rift, and my wife says I should just let it go because they did the same thing with her when she was younger and she never got hurt. Am I the a-hole? No, OP, of course you're not the a-hole. Your in-laws are being stupid and your wife's logic is ridiculous. How can she think a towel and a seatbelt are safe enough for an 11-month-old baby? You need to have a serious conversation with her about this whole thing. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's check out the community comments. Slightly Sane Mama 5 says, depending on where you live, it's illegal to drive a child in car without a car seat. I'd never leave child alone with grandparents without a car seat. 1096 says, as a paramedic, I'm going to say, hell no. One fender bender and that baby's a plinko puck in the car. Efficient Society 73 says, I wouldn't let your wife drive the kid anywhere either. If she thinks not using a car seat is fine, she likely will do the same at some point. Car seats and seatbelt laws all exist for a reason, and it isn't because we were all fine without them. Yeah, we were, and smoking and having a few cocktails while pregnant was fine too, until it wasn't. Not the a-hole OP. Your wife and her parents are all idiots, and not a single one of them needs to be alone with that child. Flomo Joblo says, not the a-hole, and your wife is a crappy mother. Not only is using just a seatbelt for an 11-month-old hugely unsafe, it's illegal. What kind of a mother would think this is okay? Is your wife also driving the kid around without a car seat? You are right to be looking after your child's safety. Let your wife and her parents get pissed off and tell them the parents will not be driving the kid. This is indeed a hill to die on. And Rebel Alliance 05 says, for the love of God, do not leave your child alone with your in-laws. It is illegal and deadly to not have your child properly buckled into a car seat. I can't believe your wife is not being strict and allowing this. Do not leave your child with them. Please, please think of the safety of your baby. Not the a-hole for trying to protect your child, but you will be the a-hole if you let your in-laws watch them. They won't use the car seat, and I think you know it. OP's edit. Alright, based on the advice here, I called my father-in-law and told him I would buy them a car seat, but they will need to use it if they want my child in their vehicle. He said he would think about it. 5 minutes later, my wife comes storming in, screaming at me for going behind her back. So, I guess he wasn't impressed and called her. Anyway, she called me an effing scaredy cat, and I told her she can leave, so she did. So yeah, guess I'm a single dad now? OP's edit 2. Wow, this really blew up. I should add some context. My in-laws are usually sane and good people, but are from an Eastern Bloc country, so a bit old school in some of their thinking. My wife is back home now and has apologized. She agrees that our child should ride in a car seat. My in-laws are going to watch him tomorrow, and she has agreed to tell them that the baby must be in a car seat. Well, the community agrees that OP is not the a-hole and that he should protect his kid. So now, let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. So, first thing this morning, I head to Walmart and pick up a car seat for my in-laws. The plan was, they were taking my kid for the day, as I work and my wife had a lengthy medical appointment. My in-laws arrive, I set up the car seat in his car. Father-in-law is a bit grumpy, but mostly okay. They leave with my kid and all is well. I usually get home from work at 5:30, but I got home a bit early today. Just as I'm pulling in the driveway, my in-laws pull up next to me. My father-in-law looked at me like a cat with a canary in his mouth. I get out of my car and walk up to theirs, and my child is sitting on an effing stack of folded towels and covered in a blanket with a seatbelt strapped across him. I lost my crap. Words were said and I told them they're never seeing their grandchild again. I also called the non-emergency police line and they said I can come in and file a police report and they'll refer it to the prosecutor's office. I am going down there tomorrow on my lunch. My wife doesn't want me to pursue charges. She says it's just how her parents are. She knows I'm mad, but she has always had a tough time going against her parents. Part of me wants to just never let them near my kid again, but I don't think it's realistic given how close my wife is to her parents. So, tough spot. I want to pursue charges. I'm pissed. Pretty sure it's gonna cost me my marriage though. So yeah, fun day. Kid is sleeping safe and sound at least. OP, I'm really sorry that you're going through all of this, but the cost of your marriage for keeping your kid alive, I think, is more than fair. And honestly, if you do go for divorce, you can definitely get full custody considering this whole thing. File the charges. In the meantime, here's wishing you the best in the future, OP. Thanks for sharing and take care. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.